Another night, another dream, but always you. It's like a vision of love. It seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always you. In the night, I dream of love so true. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I gotta cut it off because you know YouTube is gonna come in here and shut me down. But listen, that is the real McCoy. Another night. Come on. Come on. Tell me I didn't know that. Tell me I didn't know that. I love the real McCoy. That was one of my favorite songs. It still is one of my favorite songs. But anyway, what's up, everybody? 32 Icon here. I hope that you guys are doing well. I'm doing well myself. Please go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already. In good faith that I will continue bringing you great content. Oh, and I'm just another YouTube personality, so take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own research, okay? All right. Man, that intro is long. Did y'all skip my intro? I know y'all do. I know y'all do. Some people just get on the camera and talk. Like Tactical Toolbox. He used to come on and say, "What's up, PewTubers? What's up, PewTubers? Blah, 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 blah." Now he just gets on. He's like, so I have this red dot and we're going to talk about this and how you can get this red dot for $1. Tactical Toolbox always has the deals. He always has the deals. But, yeah, my intro's a little long. I know. I try to switch it up with the intro before the intro. Shout out to my boy who peeped it early on. I don't know. I try to give y'all something different. But I asked y'all before if I should change the intro, and y'all say y'all like it. So I'm going to keep it for a while. But don't be fast forwarding me, okay? Don't be fast forwarding me. All right, here we go. Cons for red dots on handguns. Now, I did a pros video, so this is going to be the cons video, all right? And listen, this is just my experience. There ain't no factual statistics, all that foolishness. So take what I say with a grain of salt and do your own research. But the bottom line is, this is just my experience and my opinion on the cons for having red dots on handguns, all right? First up, you're trying to run before you crawl. All right. So when you put a red dot, this is my CZ P10S. It's sharp, isn't it? When you put a red dot on a handgun without learning proper sight picture and proper alignment, you don't know the fundamentals of shooting. Sight alignment is part of the fundamentals of shooting, right? So if you just say, okay, I want to start off and I just want to throw a red dot on. Because believe it or not, a lot of people, when they buy their firearms now with the option of having the RMR cut and different plates that you can put on here, people automatically say, oh, I want that. And, you know, let me get an optic without really learning the fundamentals of the sights. So they put the optic on and it's fun. Granted, they have a great time. But we need to crawl and walk before we can run. All right. Next up, I don't know about you guys, but optics are expensive to own. Even just one. And you may say, well, Liv, you don't have to get the Trichicon RMR. You can get something that is a little more affordable, like the Holosun that has multiple advantages and different components that you can use and different options that will help you really enjoy the red dot experience. But nonetheless, that's still in the few $100s, couple of $100s. And then you say, well, Liv, you can go with a Vortex. That's still expensive too. I don't know, I don't know what your pockets are, but when you're spending $400, $500, $600 on a handgun, and now you have to spend another $250, $300, $500 on an optic, that starts to add up. And we all know we can't just have one, right? We all know one does not work. You have to have more than one. It's an addiction. So if you can afford it, then this doesn't apply to you, right? It don't apply to you. But if you cannot afford it, then it does apply to you because it adds up. And I remember when I got this firearm, because this was my first optic and this was my first Glock. I went to the store and I was like, yeah, what's this? And it's like telling me, you know, what it is. I'm like, oh, okay. This might be all right. How much is it? And when they told me, I think at the time it was about $450, $500. I said, excuse me? I'm sorry, come again? It's what? Oh, hell nah. But I didn't know any better. And the guy, I remember his name too, I'm not going to say it. He laughed at me. He was like, listen, this is how much they cost. I'm like, I don't understand. How is that possible? And, you know, he explained the intricacies of having a red dot on a handgun. And I said, well, I might as well buy another handgun if I'm going to spend $450, $500. And I was a newbie at the time too. I think I had maybe 2 guns at that point, maybe 3, but it was like 2 guns. And I think I had a 22. So it was like 2 or 3, but nonetheless, I didn't know anything about red dots. So I thought he was just trying to, you know, stick me for my paper. No, he was trying to educate me like, yeah, it's going to cost money. So my point is it can be expensive. All right. Next up, if you're in competition, right, as I spoke in a previous video, and you decide to use the optic and your optic fails and you don't have another one or you don't have a battery, well, then are you going to leave the competition or are you going to revert to your sights? That goes back to the fundamentals. If you don't have the fundamentals of proper sight alignment and picture and all that good stuff, then you're going to struggle in a competition situation where you now do not have the red dot to rely on, but you still want to have fun, right? So, you know, if it fails, you're out of luck, okay? Which brings me to my next point. Say in a situation where, you know, you have to defend your life, right? And you can't pull your gun, but you're wrestling with the perpetrator and maybe you end up getting his gun. It's probably not going to have no red dot on it. It's probably not going to have... Are there videos of criminals who have firearms with red dots on them? Not like... We're not talking about like mass shootings and stuff like that. We're talking about like everyday occurrence. You go outside, someone try to rob you. They really don't. And what we've noticed, you know, I mentioned active self-protection before. What we notice is that things can go wrong and go left real quick. But a lot of times, perpetrators are not trying to harm you. Yes, the gun is loaded, but they just want to rob you. They just want the money. But as soon as you give back that aggression or as soon as you pull your firearm, they bolt. They're out of there, right? So I'm trying to think of the times where I've seen like the regular average Joe out here robbing a store or trying to stick someone up and they had a red dot on their firearm. That's got to be a super perpetrator. I'm going to have to go back to active self-protection and see if he have any videos on that. But anyway, I'm not laughing at a situation. I'm just laughing at the thought of, you know, a criminal saying, hey, let me get that. And by the way, put a red dot on there so I could, you know, have accuracy in my crime. But anyway, yeah, if you have to wrestle that firearm from someone and they don't have a red dot on there, you're going to need to be able to see what you're shooting at to be able to line things up so you ain't firing at people behind the target that you're intended to shoot, right? So that's why I think that, you know, a red dot on handguns is just, listen, maybe there's some cons to that. I'll say that. All right. Again, and this is kind of going into what we've already discussed, optics fail, okay? The battery dies. There's a mechanical issue. They fail. So if you're at the range and you didn't bring an extra battery, you don't know how to fix your optic, you don't know what to look for, then now your fun time has been diminished to, oh, now I got to take the next 10, 15 minutes to figure out what's going on with this optic. Again, self-defense situation, you're home, someone comes through the door, what have you. Listen, that optic is done. You don't know what you're pointing at. It's dark, it fails, it malfunctions, what have you. You need those iron sights, night sights preferably, but you need those iron sights to help you out. And lastly, if you have a red dot on a handgun, you still have to zero the red dot. You can't just take the red dot out of the box and be like, boom, I'm going to use it, because it could not have been zeroed from the factory, which means you have to double check it, right? But if you don't know the proper, fundamentals of zeroing and making sure your sights are on and how to hold the gun and the grip and all that good stuff, when you go to zero, your zero might be off. You might not know exactly what the plus and minus buttons mean. Now, most people do, but some people don't. Windage and elevation and all that. You click in and you're trying to figure out, like, what is this one click MOA and R means what? And you're trying to figure it all out because you don't really have the basics of knowing how to adjust your windage and elevation on your iron sights, right? That's just basic stuff. Now, of course, on this one, this is a fixed front post, but you do have the windage in the back. On some firearms, you have the windage and elevation. So my point is, although there are plenty of pros of having red dots on handguns, there are also several cons that you need to consider as well. For me, making these videos back to back, go have fun. Put them red dots on them pistols all you want. If you can afford it, put it on there. But make sure you have the fundamentals of basic grip, sight alignment, picture, all that good stuff, right? And just have a good time, right? Firearms are fun. You can go to the range. It builds camaraderie with your neighbor at the range. Your friends want to see what you're shooting. You shoot their firearms. It's just a fun time. So listen, red dot or no red dot, I'm still going to have fun. But for me, I prefer both. All right. Listen, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed my pre-intro to the intro. And listen, have a great rest of your week. All right. Continue to treat one another well and with kindness. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Peace.